My name is Charlie McGrath. I'm the founder of WideAwakeNews.com and a host on the Rinse Radio Network. Think at your own risk if you happen to live in the United States or any other Western country that calls itself free. You're not free. You're being surveilled. We know that. Edward Snowden, former employee of a contractor who worked for the NSA, released this information about PRISM, and it is now nothing but blowback for this government. In fact, James Clapper, the head of the director of national intelligence, came out immediately and talked about the criminality of the acts of Edward Snowden and how he betrayed the trust of the American people. But let's look at James Clapper and let's look at trust. Because before Congress in March of this year, Senator Wyden directly asked him a question. Is the NSA spying on the American people? Are they collecting data on the American people? It took almost 6 minutes to get the answer out of Clapper, but he finally said no. We're not wittingly collecting information on the American people. Maybe anecdotally we get some here and there, but not wittingly going after it. This is in direct contradiction to what Edward Snowden felt it necessary to leave the country, fly to Hong Kong, and then release information because his conscience was killing him at the information that the NSA was collecting and he was privy to. He releases this information and it's complete and utter blowback for the U.S. government. So what's happening? A bunch of closed-door meetings with NSA officials, a bunch of off-camera interviews or conferences between power elite trying to figure out how to handle this situation. What's their best answer so far? They're going to come out and talk about misinformation. They're not going to come out and talk about the fact that the American people have been betrayed, that James Clapper has proven to be lying before Congress. They're not going to talk about the fact that your privacy is being destroyed. They're going to talk about the fact that misinformation is making this case seem worse than it really is. In fact, Mark Rubio is coming out saying this is, along with Dianne Feinstein, they're coming out saying this is all about contractors, private contractors, handling national security. This is the same government. This is the same individuals who signed off on the collusion between private industry and government when it was handy to their campaign re-election times, when it was handy to fund their campaign re-elections. These guys were all for the collusion between private industry and government, also known as fascism. And it's a handy whipping post when it comes time to blame. They're going to blame private industry for the failure. They're going to blame private industry for the exposure of government activities when it comes to destroying your anticipated right to privacy. But when it comes time to reelect themselves or to generate contributions, they're all for the private collusion between this industry and government. It's time we realize that the 72 plus fusion centers that are around this country, that the IRS targeting so-called patriots, that reporters being targeted by government, their emails and their phone calls, that the IRS buying secret spy gear, that the DHS buying billions of rounds of ammunition, by the FBI manufacturing false terror, by the domestic threats that keep Eric Holder up at night, and the thousands of drones that are anticipated being put into the air around this country. This isn't all just a coincidence. This build out of the security industrial complex isn't to keep Ahmadinejad away from you. It isn't to keep Assad and the next batch of terrorists from coming over here and stealing your rights. It is to surveil the people of this nation, to keep you under control. They understand what's coming, and what's coming next is going to shock and terrify, I believe, most people who are unprepared, and certainly those who are asleep. Please understand, spread this video, wake up. Stories are attached. That's all I got.